Thanks, Shubhajit, for the introductions. And I know we are sitting all haphazard, not according to how you like. He likes to put us as per the speaker slide behind, but but it's my privilege to be here with the veterans of the design fraternity, as we call them, the design gurus of Indian design sector. And given the topic here, fusion of art, space, and design, I think we couldn't have better people who have been there, done that, to talk about this. And therefore, to make things a little difficult for them, I have made 5 aspects of this topic, where we'll talk about the conceptual side of it, the design side of it, the technology side of it, the sustainability side of it, and the 5th would be the urban side of it. So starting from my, with the philosophical question, Nitin, question will be to all of you. Nitinji, first of all, you can start with that. At what point a space or a building from a functional becomes a piece of art?
Thanks for having me here and nice to be with my friends. So, as you mentioned, this is really a philosophical question, When we design anything, it's not that we are creating a piece of art, but subconsciously you think that way. That, it becomes more timelessness and something which gets positive response. But at the same time, having said that, what we design need not be a piece of art. Why should it be just piece of art? It should be more functional. And I think you already had session on sustainability, etc. So that is, I think, more important. Also, there is one more aspect that when we talk of art, it is not you design something within the 4 walls. Let it be enjoyed by public at large. And I think that is what we are missing in our cities. So when there's many cities, especially European cities, where if you have a certain project, some portion of the funds and some space you had to sort of leave it for the public art or art for the public, and that they enjoy. Here, what is really happening is we are restricted to designing some islands. Now that is also gone, and on highways you see those yoga structures. So there is no consciousness in that sense. So I think they are just very random thoughts initially. Let's debate on this.
Exactly. Even if you design a building, it sometimes becomes a piece of art in the city. How you probably design it.
So our great Deputy Chief Minister says iconic buildings. So I don't know what he has got in his mind. So,
Iconic, yeah.
But that is, I think that is incidental.
Incidental. Okay.
I will not design it as a piece of art.
Of course, of course. Suresh Babu, how do you see it? Because obviously a building has to be functional. But at what point it crosses into becoming also as a piece of art, a piece of something to be enjoyed, as Nitinji said, to be experienced?
Correct. First of all, thank you, Sapna, for calling me here. And as far as I am concerned, our design process, it have several layers. Generally, we start from arithmetic, then comes to geography, then comes to functional. These 3 things, like mathematics. Mathematics means, first of all, you have to take the length and width of the site, what requirement you require. Then, of course, the geography come to a play, where your site is, whether the site is sloped or flat, or whether it is in a cold climate, hot climate, whatever it is. Then comes your function, whether you are designing a school building or a sports complex or whatever it is, its function. If these three things comes, then you can design a building. But with these three components, you cannot make a building as an architecture or as an art. But for making this building as an art piece or this building into an architectural piece, then you require so many other layers of design as well. There are several layers, but some of the layer I would like to mention is like emotional layer. That means when I design a building, when I get into that building, I should feel comfortable. I should feel happy. I should feel a wow sort of a thing. Then, that become, slowly that building is converting into a art of peace. Then similarly, there are a lot of other consideration like aesthetic. From outside, inside, it should look good. Aesthetic layer has to be very good. Then there are sustainability point of view. That is another layer. Similarly, there are so many other layers, social layer, cultural layer. All those things put together make a building as an architecture or a piece of art. That is what I think.
That's right. Vivek, Suresh Babu said that it has to evoke emotions to be a piece of art or architecture. What do you would like to add to that?
Yeah, I totally agree with Suresh. That any piece of architecture, any design, when it evokes emotions and it tickles your intellectual curiosity, that is when it turns to an art. That I strongly feel,
Okay.
So
You agree to
Yes,
what
yes, definitely.
our other speakers have to
Some
say?
examples could be, when you go to a church which is really well designed and it kind of creates that feeling of awe and spirituality, or like a lotus temple,
Right.
or the Sagrada de Familia in Spain. When you go there and you just look at these pieces of architecture which go beyond the function, that's when it evokes emotion. And the senses are heightened. That's when you can consider it as art.
Right, right. So fantastic. I think, setting the context of this conversation is from functional to art, there are a lot of layers, as Nitin ji said, that it has to be part of experience. Suresh ji said it has to evoke emotions. Vivek ji said, the same thing. And, like Jamshed ji gave example that how function and emotions can be combined. That is how you make a piece of art out of a building, out of something concrete and steel or bricks and mortar. Now,
And actually, people visit it not for the reason it's built.
Right.
Like there are so many places which
Just
you go to visit, which are not necessarily
Right.
meant for that purpose.
Right.
You go as a tourist, or you go in and see it just as a piece of art.
Right, like Nitin ji, you say iconic buildings of the city it becomes. Now,
That I am not seeing. That is proposed.
okay, that's our
But
CM wants
at
to
the
make.
same time, I think your question also has something to do with, it's very subjective,
Right,
What is good to me may not be
True.
So much
True.
good to you. And
Design is not 2 + 2 4.
but
so
I can
yeah.
see this our T2 airport from here. So that is what is required, that you have access to so-called art and Indianness, Indian art,
That's right,
which is open, and it is open for conversation.
right,
There's a discussion.
right.
People like it, may not like it. That is secondary.
Yeah,
again.
not everyone has
But
to like
this is
it.
something
yeah.
which is required than just, spending money with very opulent kind of spaces and materials and stuff like that.
Right. So any architecture is good if it becomes part of a conversation among people,
Yeah.
accessible to people. This brings me to the next question about design aspect of this topic. Many buildings that we see today is they look same. We don't know if it is in Spain or India or US or England, because it's the same structure. We go to any IT campus, we see the interior design, we will not know if it is in India or in US. How do we bring heritage into our contemporary design? Everyone wants modern, everyone wants contemporary. Vivek, how do we bring the heritage or the context of a place in our
it's a very,
modern design?
very tricky line to trend. And I would give you an example of a convention center we designed in Khajuraho. Khajuraho being a heritage city full of temples. So, and we wanted to create something, a fusion of, past and future. So we created a modern building, and we created an carving on the outside of the building from the motif picked up from the exterior of the temple, created a new composition, same elements but new composition. And then we created, the facade of the building. And then similarly, we had a chandelier, which was something like 5-meter dia, where we had laser cut the motifs which were there in the temple garbhagriha ceiling. So new composition, put it in a modern context, and using old motifs and old carvings, something like that. And similarly for the carpet design. So that is how, we had tried to blend the old.
The context of
Yes,
the place
yes.
where the project is.
Yeah, so it
Jamshed
was
ji-
not a building which was heritage, but it is the whole city which was a heritage city.
Right,
So, it was a tricky thing to do.
right. How you would approach
Basically,
this?
we need to reinterpret, especially if you're trying to fuse modern architecture and heritage. So you need to reinterpret just the way he explained, that you may take the form or you may take a motif or an element, and then you use it in the architecture that you're designing or in the space that you're designing. So how you interpret it is extremely important, and it should be an intent right from the start. If it's just splashed on somewhere without proper meaning, the way Nitin explained earlier, that you just don't want to use some opulent finishes or materials which would necessarily make the space look rich, but more importantly from the point of view of making sure that you have the right balance, because you're trying to do a modern building, but you yet want heritage within it. And there's so much of heritage and so much of arts and crafts from India which we can incorporate, and we should in all our projects, even if it's just a touch.
Right. It should not look superimposed, but look like integral part of the entire
And right at the
concept,
start.
right from the start. Suresh, how you would like to approach this? How do we make buildings where we can bring everything together, the heritage, the modern design?
Yeah, this is something like, it's a very difficult thing, because it's this kind of a fusion, it happens everywhere. Like in the liquor, like whiskey is mixed to the local toddy. Its proportions and other things are, very important. Now when that is what, I don't know, toddy may be heritage and whiskey may be modern. But when it comes to music, there is a fusion of jazz to classical music. For that, for mixing these or fusion of these, we require deep knowledge of both the things. You require, as an architecture, when you mix it, you should have a proper research what kind of a traditional or a heritage building you are doing. You should have a thorough understanding of that thing. Plus, in the modern also or a contemporary also, there are various styles or various proportions. You should have a deep control on that. If you have both the things, then you can mix it. Or mixing also, it has to be very controlled. If it is properly controlled and composition is very good, it will turn to be a very good structure. Everybody will enjoy it. Suppose if it doesn't mix it properly, then this can be a disaster as well.
True.
A proper understanding, proper research, and a proper designing is very, very important in this case.
Fantastic. Like Suresh Babu said, when we say modern or contemporary, that also has a lot of styles and obviously heritage. So it's like a music composer. An architect has to be. So Nitinji, your last word on this. How?
Well, this is a very serious issue actually about heritage. You know, first of all, from very young age, we have to imbibe the respect for heritage, especially heritage structures, which is not really happening. And I consider that at least our generation of architects and everyone for that matter, we are quite privileged to see some good heritage structures being restored also. But at the same time, I really wonder that what would a heritage architect would do, say after 100 years. Right now, our friends, you know, like our generation of architects, many of them are specializing in heritage architecture and doing wonderful job. But 100 years down the line, what sort of restoration they would do to the buildings which are designed today? So, you also mentioned that all buildings look alike.
Yeah.
No, so this is one aspect. Second aspect is, I talked about the respect for heritage. You know that Raj Reval's
NDMC building. Delhi?
Yeah, Delhi, that
Yeah.
I forgot.
NDMC building, yeah.
India Heritage, not India Heritage Center. One which was pulled down.
Pragati Maidan.
Pragati Maidan, yeah. That
Pragati
you know,
Maidan.
it was a concrete space frame structure.
Yeah, yeah. So sad.
And there was a huge UN cry. Absolutely ruthless government.
Complete.
They demolished, and what they've done?
Some modern.
Another building,
Yeah.
so-called modern building.
Modern.
So that is how we, you know, treat our heritage structures. So how do we do this? I think these are more important issues than just, you know, trying to imitate something or trying to relate your work. Means I would never think of doing something which matches with some heritage structure in that sense.
Right. You
At the
also-
same time, having said that, you know, you have to capture the spirit of spaces from heritage structures, which that is
Exactly.
more important. I cannot make monumental buildings in today's times, but you can still capture those elements, you know,
Right.
which goes into the planning of especially heritage structures. So
Right.
that is, I think, more important.
Right. I think exactly what our speakers are trying to say. It's not only about bringing elements of heritage or that particular city identity or culture into the modern buildings, but also respecting our heritage buildings, which are there. You know, we need to probably save them, respect them, restore them. And as Nitinji very well said, after 100 years, what kind of buildings are we going to be restoring?
Oh, that's it. That's it. Very thought-provoking, idea you gave. I mean,
We never thought of that kind.
Yeah, really. I mean, we think of heritage as, 500,
So back of the
1,000-year-old.
mind, I would
Yeah,
like
but
to see my buildings lasting for 100 years and
Yes.
someone restores it.
and also the,
So we have another aspect to this question, which will go in the last. But in last sessions, we had talked about technology quite a lot, how technology is becoming an integral part of design, and it's a natural evolution. Jamshedji, how is technology impacting design? Good, bad, whichever way you think, how it is impacting creativity or it's impacting design?
Well, I always see the good, so it's a little naive, but that's at least as a start point. You should look at it as what are the advantages, and immense advantages. Your clients teach you so much. Your students or the people who join your office who are young, they learn so much about using tools which can uh, maybe start, rethinking the way you design also. So it's also about how you think about design and whether these tools can help you think differently. So that's my main point. I mean, there are so many softwares which we know of, 3D printing, AI softwares, etc., which are coming into the market, and people have started embracing them. But I yet find the process is not clear. We don't have a process of how we can implement these AI tools, except for BIM and those kind of softwares. But when it goes to creating buildings and designing buildings with some kind of AI tool, you need to be careful about it, and the human experience cannot be necessarily gotten through AI. So
That's
we
right,
need to
Vivek.
be a little careful about that. Yeah.
Yeah, technology is a great enabler, but as you said, that the creativity should not be lost.
It's
if
not
we
only
are,
the creativity, it's just that we need to, the human touch, that feel of a space, that when we talked about the emotional quotient of a
Right.
space when you're creating, so, and the process. The main thing is the process,
Process,
which I
yeah.
find is lacking right now, at least in India.
Okay, fantastic. Vivek, what would you like to add to it? How do you see the good or bad side of technology in design?
So I am personally for, trying to catch up with technology. But yeah, it is definitely a lovely tool. And I mean, all the technology platforms are very nice to work with. What I see with youngsters in the office.
Right.
And one thing is for sure that, that allows us to interact more with the younger generation in the office, because we are also keep learning from them and keep asking them how to do this and what
Yeah,
to
they
do.
are more tech savvy.
So, that's created a two-way communication a lot.
Yeah,
So
correct.
that's something which I'm enjoying.
Yeah. Sureshji, how do you see that, the new generation of architects, designers, they started on technology only. They started on AutoCAD only. Probably they didn't do so much of sketching and, designing, or maybe, using paper to make. How do you see that?
Yeah. The difference is in our earlier days, in our starting days and all, we use a pen, pencil with paper.
Grading, shading.
Yeah,
like that.
and at that time, what happened is that line doesn't come automatically like that. Even if, like in computer, you press a button, you will get a line or you will get a circle. But those days, in our mind, in our heart, we will have visualize certain things. Our whatever idea we have it in our heart, it flows through our hand, through the pen, and into the paper. There will be a lot of, as he told, there will be a lot of human touch. There is a lot of emotion involved in those design. But in the technology thing, that may not be there. But the construction process, building the, and lot of, because today everybody wanted to building to be fastest possible way,
Of course.
at a less cost, everything. And today's technology, especially BIM technology, can take solve a lot of problems. You can make a fastest thing. You can do the, what is it called, the clash detection at the day one, so that you can visualize what are the problem going to happen during the construction or during the operation of the building. That can be visualized from day one.
Correct.
And that way it helps a lot of things. And that is one of the things. Then plus AR, VR, everything. You can go into the building, you can fly over the building, you can see all over the thing. You can, earlier, we have a limitation. But with this technology, we can analyze entire thing from various angles.
That's
that
right.
way, technology is definitely required. But same time, I feel there should be a human touch, there should be an emotional thing. You cannot leave everything to the technology.
Right.
Technology is only a tool. You consider it as a tool, then it is very good. But if you think technology is everything, then it is not good.
Correct, correct. There is no doubt technology is a great enabler, enhances efficiency, enhances the speed of the project, and as Jamshed ji said, that only thing is we need to, the processes, we need to have the right processes, and we need to have the human angle to it, which should not get lost. Nitin ji, how do you see, how good or bad, like Suresh ji said, it's not everything, it is great enabler. How do you see it?
It is all good. I don't think there is anything bad. Everyone agrees with that. Everyone also agrees that there has to be human touch, because how you use the technology, that is more important, no?
Right.
So as far as that part is concerned, that's fine. But if you recall, during the turn of the century, 2000, there was big debate. Kya ho jayega, what sort of data and all that. But whenever such thing happens, people take it into their stride, and there are always solutions.
Right.
And as far as our field is concerned, when you talk of technology for making drawings, details, designs, yes, it helps. And the speed, the type of complexities, which we would have not done it manually,
Correct.
which is possible to do it.
Correct.
I mean,
So that is, I think, and it's always evolving. So many times people also asked about this chat GPT and AI and all that. So fine, welcome. We'll use it in our own way.
even when it comes to using softwares for sustainability part, you understand the wind path, the sun path,
Right.
so many factors which go into maybe changing the design of a building. So, say for example, you're doing a tall structure, and the wind path makes you change the building, or makes you make a small hole in the building, and you can save like maybe 20,000 tons of steel. So the simulations which are available through the softwares that we have
Digital
today.
twins we are now talking
So
about.
that kind of helps a lot.
And one more thing I wanted to add to this, because the scenario is getting changed. In earlier days, we used to make a building with brick, cement, mortar, and other thing. Today, brick, cement, and all there. But today, the major ingredient for building any structure is data. How much, as I told, how much weight, how much heat, what is the strength of the thing. Every data is stored somewhere.
Right.
Now we design, when you call up a technology, we design the building using this data. Data become the primary ingredient for any building, any new building.
Correct, correct. That is very true. Now,
But there is one more aspect to this also, that fine, we all use technology and we welcome new technology, and there's a lot of advancement in last decade or so. But with every new technology, our quality of life is deteriorating. So technology doesn't help somehow, or we have not been able to identify which technology to use. So we have got, you see anything in your day-to-day lives, whether it is using your own car, or using a lift, or using, certain materials, fantastic technology. But end of the day, what? Our quality of life is terrible, right? So how do we address this, and how do we use especially technology to improve the life, quality of life?
so again, we are ending this segment. Like last segment also, we ended on a question. This segment also, we ended on a question that technology is good, but how do we improve the quality of life? That also brings to my next segment about sustainability. What's the role of an architect? When, there's been a lot of talk about sustainability. We had sessions in the morning about sustainability. And I do agree, it's not only architect's job to bring sustainability. There are a lot of people involved in it, a lot of stakeholders. But what's the role of an architect? Because it's an architect who's creating, who's conceptualizing. a project. Suresh, let's start with you.
See, sustainability is one of the most used word nowadays, but there are a lot of organizations like IGBC, then Griha, so many agencies are there, to monitor this thing and giving the certification. But all this sustainability, I don't know whether whatever the sustainability standard we are using, is it really sustainable or it's only for a marketing gimmick or a thing. But actual sustainability starts from these using your material, what kind of a material and what orientation and how you are going to, all the IGBC or any other organization, conducts their a national convention in a five-star hotel with so much of air conditioning, electricity is being used. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Half-liter water bottle.
Half a liter plastic, it's in plastic water bottle.
Yeah,
and so much of wastage is created. And it's sustainability, I think more than this, it's a lifestyle. Of course, architects have to play a big role in that. It's a lifestyle. How you can reduce the material, how you can reduce your carbon footprint, how you can reduce your wastage. Even if you create wastage, how you can reuse or recycle this material. All those things are, part of the sustainability. What I feel is all the certification and all is not sufficient for an actual sustainable future. Each and every one of us have to be aware about what is sustainability, how to use the material, how to make a less use of a various thing. And for educating the people, architects has to play a big role in that, because architect has to be a role model for everything. But for getting a real and actual sustainability, everybody have to be participated in an equal way.
Vivekji, what do you have to say? Sureshji said, yes, architects have a big role to play because after all, we are the ones who are designing building, but then everyone is part of that ecosystem. So
I feel, sustainability is required, definitely required, very important in today's time. All the, rating agencies which are there, their criteria, they're good. They're good as a starting point. I would say they should not be taken as a Bible, the end game. It should be a starting point. Those are the things probably Nitin sir, Korea sir, they have been following for ages. And without any actual certification.
But how much is architect responsible? What percentage you say? 50% architect is responsible, 80% architect is responsible?
0%.
No, everybody is responsible, but architect is the. I would say we are totally responsible, and we are the initiator. We have the capacity to educate client. We have the capacity to educate end users, and definitely these are rating agencies and which help us guide end users also to maintain the building in that way for years ahead. So those are the advantages, but that's not the end game.
Great. So Vivek says that yes, it is very much responsibility of architects to create awareness with their clients and all. Nitinji said 0%, because architects are already burdened with lot of things. So Jamshedji, what do you have to say between the two?
What I believe is Nitin was speaking more in jest, as he already clarified that it's extremely important. Sustainability is a word loosely used. We've heard of the term greenwashing, which Mr. Suresh Babu kind of mentioned. What's important is that we've got most clients now aware of how important it is to have a sustainable building designed and get all the stakeholders involved in understanding how important this is. So our earlier question of, orienting a building in a different direction or having the services in the south, contextually making sure that you're designing based on the context of the space. A sustainable building in some part of Kashmir would not work if it's put in a desert. So yes, we've got technology on our sides. We need to make sure that it is inbuilt in the design brief, in the design intent, and all the stakeholders truly believe that it's going to help. And yes, it has been very close to my heart. So I think we've got different ways of achieving this. And what we talked about, orientation, sunpath, etc., these are passive design methods. Right. And then there are active design methods wherein you use materials which have carbon footprint low. And most importantly, you look at products which are have a low embedded energy from
local materials. Yeah.
From cradle to grave is what you need to see. So you may be using a sustainable product, but if it is coming from the United States of America or from a far off location, then there is X amount of energy being used in just the transportation. So you've got to understand how local can you be as far as your materials, because that's one of the important things of embedded energy in your products.
I think that is where the architect's role comes, to create an awareness. Probably a client might not know that, we are talking of sustainable, but
and that
it
is
has
why there are
these,
that's why there are these
green rating systems and
these agencies which kind of help you to understand that more in depth.
Right. Nitinji, you would
Sometimes
want to add something
try
to
to
it?
sell the product.
Yeah.
Sometimes they try to sell the US products.
Yeah, correct.
Sorry, I didn't get you. You mentioned
I
something?
said sometimes, initially, if, at least, there were the agencies, they're trying to sell European and US products only.
Right, right.
And imagine, probably the material, the raw material going from Asia to US and Europe, getting manufactured and coming back here again to use.
So yeah, then it's more of economics and business. But actually speaking, how you use your common sense, very frankly, and I feel that lately it has become, especially this IGBC and all that rating Jamela is, it's absolutely elitist. I'll give a very simple example. These days you see most of these so-called, big towers and luxury buildings and all that. Some of them, they do have this kind of
Green ratings and all.
mathematics of tick marks.
Okay.
So that the sheer existence of that building is because there is one SRA building 3 meters away,
Right.
constructed by the same developer,
Correct.
approved by the same authorities.
Correct.
So can anybody say that that will pass through all these IGBCs or any ratings? But the next building has got platinum rating. So this is a paradox. And we have to actually counter this. And today, who are the biggest clients? Biggest clients are all government authorities. Why there is no concern, why there is no seminar, why there is no debate for any of the government projects. The way they are doing these highways and superways and constructions, and it's really terrible, terrible. So I feel that it should come within. Like if I tell a child that, we are all grown up, that you should be honest, right? Nothing wrong. Everybody has to be honest. But I cannot say that Jamshed is platinum honest, he is silver honest, I am a useless honest. So it should come from within, no? And I very strongly feel that our upbringing as Indians, we had that kind of sensibilities. Like I always used to say, my grandmother, 50, 60 years ago, she was saying, don't use bulb, that is incandescent light. Use tube light. Why? Because it gives more light, more efficient, economical. There was no IGBC. But IGBC would give me some rating if I use a carpet in a kitchen, provided I use this, make this rating. So this is all, it should not give any, you know, it's a very glorified word and something which is, at least I feel that the buildings which are designed by us, it has last for 40, 50 years. So that itself is sustainable, right?
True, true. To the life cycle at least.
Yeah, so that is sustainable. More sustainable than any other. Also sustainable, which suits your pocket. Yeah, it's all elitist concept.
So fantastic. I think this conversation has given us...
I'm sorry, I'm slightly digressing.
has given us a lot of food for thought. Starting, you know, what we, our panel said is that if we are talking about design, you know, starting with the philosophical question of the piece of art, you know, it has to evoke emotions. If it wants to be functional plus a piece of art and architecture, it has to have human connect. On terms of technology, there is again technology plus it cannot be everything, like you said. And like Nitinji said, that technology is getting better and bigger by passing day, but the quality of life is going down. In terms of design, as they said, that yes, we should have the heritage elements, but it should not be superimposed. It should not be also, you know, the question was, right, what kind of heritage buildings are we leaving behind for our children? You know, like we have got such fantastic ancient buildings in heritage. What are we leaving behind? And in terms of sustainability, again, there is no doubt green ratings has created a lot of awareness about sustainability. But as Nitinji said, common sense we need to have in terms of sustainability. Lot of paradox, same builder, same architect making one building which is platinum rated, and the SRA building right next to it has no, forget about rating, not even the basics.
Much more used.
Which is much more used because of the density, correct. So, lot of food for thought for us after this conversation. So, I want to close this, you know, before we get more food for thought. So, I want to close this conversation on how do we create timeless buildings, like you spoke about, you know, what are we leaving for our children? Things are changing so fast. You know, how do we create buildings that keep adapting to the new age? Jamshed ji, you know, let's start from you. How do we create that kind of architecture?
Get me the clients. So, creating timeless architecture is something which we all love to believe that we could do it, and sometimes we manage also. As long as we stay away from the fads and the spring collection is not something for architecture, right?
Yeah.
But you can consider elements of how time is making you change in the way you think. So, creating timeless architecture is all about making sure that the basics of architecture, you know, are fulfilled, and you go one step beyond, you create art.
That's right, yeah.
And that can mostly be done in buildings which are mostly, I wouldn't say always, but mostly in a building which is a public building or a space which is used by not only a few residents. Like a residential building, it would be difficult.
Right.
But a public building is where you could do that. And that's one of the things, like a public building, a space of worship.
Correct, correct. If a building becomes something which everyone relishes, then it does become timeless.
A museum,
For the,
yeah.
Vivek, your thoughts? How do we create
I
timeless
strongly feel
architecture?
that, you know, any building we design, if it is having the basic principles of design right, like, proportions, you know, mm, the color, texture, and, sorry, not color, texture, but yeah, proportions and space planning. So it's definitely going to last
Fantastic. Yeah.
a long life, and obviously it has to evoke emotion and
Right.
excite your intellect.
Yeah, something which
So-
keeps you excited. And if you follow the basic functions, I think it never
Yes.
goes wrong. Sureshji, how
And
do
it
you...
has to, sorry, it also has to be adaptable,
Of course.
adaptable for future use.
Yeah.
So that is something very, very important.
See, for me, making a timeless building is make things very, very simple. Don't make anything, unwanted. Don't make it anything complicated. Very straightforward, very simple building, whatever required by you. If you want to, you have only a husband and wife, leave it in 1,000 square feet. Don't make it 10,000 square feet. Whatever minimum required, and make it as simple as that. And neat and clean, minimalistic. That is in my way of making it.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Fully endorse with you. No,
Something he's endorsing, actually. At least.
No, actually, in today's times, we have to make or design buildings or spaces which can also be repurposed.
Of course.
Because what you think today may be totally different in terms of its usage, in terms of so many other aspects, So I feel that it has to have that kind of flexibility. So you don't have to make building like Taj Mahal is also timeless building, but it's
It will
obsolete
only
in today's
stay that.
times. Right? So as far as if you ask me, there's no formula for timelessness. Like we always say, time will tell. So let's see what others will say. It's not for us to design a building. There's no formula for that.
Okay, fantastic. I think we couldn't have ended on a better note. Yeah, please do add.
add?
Yeah, please.
Just
please.
one
Ha,
minute.
ha.
Acha, we had a wonderful discussion. There is one thing I wanted to emphasize here. Now we are going to celebrate our 79th Independence Day in another 2 days' time.
Right.
And I think in today's thing we are covered up most of the things architecture is concerned. But as a city is concerned, like I'm slightly worried or concerned about the conditions of our city, because we have already become a fourth largest economy in the world. And for that, 70% of this GDP is contributed by city. But life in the city is, getting worse and worse every day. How to become? Like I think there was one question, I don't know, we didn't ask, about the public places.
Yeah.
I was remembering a place called La Rambla in Spain, or so many other things. But nothing like that anywhere in Mumbai. Mumbai ka public place is what? VT railway station, Thane railway station, or maybe little bit of a Horniman circle, little bit of Marine Drive. Other than that, there is no public place. I think all of us, we and you all have to come forward and make a government to make our city something better with a lot of public space and artwork. So many things are there. That I think Realty
Yeah.
Plus also will take some initiative.
Of course. Yeah.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Little correction. You said we are fourth largest economy, right? In terms, but it's not per capita.
No, per capita.
So, in good old days, Charles Correa always used to say, Bombay is a great city, but terrible city to live.
Correct.
So, that is very important. These are all propaganda. Again, coming back to, we may be the first economy, quality of life.
Livability of our city.
Exactly, that is important. Yeah.
So thank you so much to our veterans of this sector. Like they say, architecture is art plus science, its form and function, and I think they have thrown up so many questions for us to think about after this. So thank you so much for giving us so many things that we should be thinking about. Everyone out here should be thinking about. and giving us so many points to, have conversations. And I think everyone, if you want to have any questions, they are here, right here, after this, because we have other things also to do. But thank you so much. Thank you, Jamshed ji. Thank you, Vivek. Thank you, Suresh Babu. And thank you, Nitin ji, for being here with us and for this fantastic conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to all our esteemed speakers. Thank you so much, Sapna. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting in front of all of you our design gurus. Please, zor se taali for all of them, please. And I'll request Sapna to please kindly give away the token of appreciation to all our esteemed speakers over here. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you for all the love, warmth, and kindness. Thank you.